Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. On behalf of HarvestPlus, I would like to present a very important topic, transition from targeted biofortification breeding to mainstreaming breeding. And this is very much relevant today. And I believe my presentation will also invite and attract many deliberation to strengthen this concept and strategy. Challenge is all we know that 3 billion people do not have enough essential nutrition through their regular diet. This is particularly true in low and middle income countries. Increased food production, increasing the productivities, does not guarantee that it will also address the micronutrient malnutrition, where other interventions costs are being increased day by day. The reason is very simple in investing in food pyramid, and the bottom of the food pyramid where the staple foods are contributing a lot, both energy and nutrition. When you do mainstreaming, the future would be the agriculture-based intervention will be expanded and reduce very negligible population size who are unreached, and also reduce the investment towards supplementation and fortification, but still that will be continued to complement the nutrition supply in the needy population. Therefore, we propose the central goal of plant breeding is not only increasing the yield and stress tolerance, it also will bring the nutritional value of this crop for the future generation. Therefore, many solutions are available. One of the solutions is mainstreaming the biofortifications. Is nothing but making the core traits, minerals and vitamins in all plant breeding pipelines. This will lead to the future varieties are being biofortified or will be biofortified. In the inception of HarvestPlus, they put 3 basic questions and those are answered now. One is whether plant breeding can contribute increasing the micronutrient and vitamins in edible parts of the staple foods. Are they bioavailable to the human being to have the measurable impact? Will farmers accept and grow? All these 3 questions are well demonstrated. Many of you know that. And in coming slides also, you can realize that. So this presentation, especially showing the prospect for mainstreaming, it is today's the mineral traits and vitamin traits are proven genetics inheritance, and also if there is no genetic erosion, just like that dwarfing genes catalyzing the green revolution in rice and wheat particularly. The biofortification traits are today in negotiable traits. It has to move to the non-negotiable trait category. It's not going to happen over the year or two, but however, the targeted breeding, which has been developed, trait standards and various capacity and breeding germplasm and pre-breeding materials, and that will be really help to move some of the crops to move to the core traits. Mineral traits are very important, and without private sector, we can't do. In targeted breeding, which was neglected in few crops, but mostly the public sector is participated, whereas in mainstreaming, private sector engagement throughout the process is very much important because the private sector industry is dominated in all the commercial crop seed market. Therefore, the upcoming pipeline investment cases in the CGIAR system, including the modernization aspect, the mainstreaming should be included as part of modernization and also is a mandatory through fast-track mainstreaming. The approach was complex in nature in the earlier days with the expert of the HarvestPlus team and associate partners. Now the multidisciplinary team contribution, this is made very simple and straightforward. Not just like yield, the X% of a test material can be compared over the check. However, in case of nutrition, the scenario is different. One has to fix the target level in which the human populations will have the measurable impact on health or nutritional status once consuming the biofortified product. Therefore, the incremental target is a very crucial and while doing the mainstreaming approach as well. And it is covering the both baseline and during the processing loss and non-available content and retention after cooking. So these are all put together makes the target increment. This is very much important, and one can comment the bioavailable micronutrient can be enhanced through the increasing the bioavailable gas. However, as of today, we don't have any high throughput method to phenotype the bioavailable in the genetic material. It also time and resource consuming. For that, we are making a different segment is the promoters and anti-nutritional factors so that breeding program can look at these factors subcomponent to improve the bioavailable content of the micronutrient. Just like any other traits, the climate change is increasingly affecting the crop productivity. A biofortification trait also not be an exception. However, this we don't have adequate data to claim, but in future, one has to be cautious on this direction. High throughput phenotyping is very much important in the biofortification breeding, either targeted breeding or mainstreaming breeding. So this is investigation well done, and is more than 22 XRF instrument has been placed in all over the world, and which can be set functionally and it can be integrated for the phenotyping aspect. And also we are proposing, which depends upon the resource availability in coming years, the one phenotyping hub in Asia and another phenotyping hub in African regions, which can catalyze the large number of sample under one CG program, just like the genotyping platform, so that everybody can be helped, and it is a very unified standard analysis can be provided to every partner. The global database is available because the targeted breeding has been done 10,000 of samples annually for many crops. So through the EIB and other analytical partner support, I think we can do a much more analytical and make a decision tree to use further. Targeted breeding has been demonstrated very successfully. More than 400 varieties has been released in 40 plus countries, which means the mainstreaming is very highly possible with available capacity. And also these varieties are bred through conventional breeding. However, when it comes to genomic and other advances technology, and this is going to be helping really in mainstreaming boosting. And the efficacy side, it is the bioavailability. It's very important to know that iron crops provide 80% of the daily iron requirement. This is estimated based on the children and women who are the vulnerable populations. So based on that, and these figures are indicated here. And wheat and rice and maize provide zincs up to 70%, whereas provitamin A, sweet potato, cassava, maize provide up to 100%, from 50 to 100%. This is a very remarkable achievement. I think it set up the stage for mainstreaming. And the second wave of the product, what we are going to have, is the most competitive in nature through mainstreaming. As of now, it's estimated that end of 2021, about 12 million households growing biofortified crops. This is a huge impact, but mainstreaming really will excel this impact in further. HarvestPlus engaged along with the entire value chains, and especially in the crop development, the trait discovery, deployment, and variety releases. And this slide especially to indicate that we need to create the demand for the sustainable market through mainstreaming. However, more insight research has been required now for establishing the entire value chain strength for the nutritional standards. Whereas for the participatory selection, has helped us the identification of the leads in rice and wheat and many other crops. Also, the HarvestPlus investment in pre-release seed production, which is early generation seed production of the lead identified using the off-season, is very much helped and fast-tracked the seed delivery to the farmers. The lesson learned, as you know, the phenotyping, yes, XRF is available. One can use the large number of sample and discard the low level of micronutrient vitamin traits germplasm. And the cost can be further reduced when under 1 kg mainstreaming because the sample likely to be increased multifold. And the targeted breeding being a time-tested approach, and dissemination funding is crucial when it comes to all mainstreaming part, especially early generation seed set, which is also contributing to the reduce the breeding cycle, will contribute to the genetic gain directly. And the specific market commercial competence are expected in further mainstreaming product. Therefore, the public-private sector partnership is very key. Reaching 1 billion by 2030 cannot be done by HarvestPlus and program alone. It must move biofortification beyond targeted breeding, beyond HarvestPlus, and to the 1 kg mainstreaming agenda now. So the drivers of mainstreaming, we all know that what the capacity, what progress has been made, including the speed breeding modernization agenda and diagnostic markers, which is, as I indicated earlier. On top of it, long-term committed funding is very much required. Otherwise, we can't achieve the mainstreaming or any other commitment in this. So therefore, the HarvestPlus has designed targeted breeding not only move the mainstreaming faster, it is also more efficient through the monitoring and strengthening the capacity of the breeding program and analytical skill. Under 1 kg, it was expected to have the commitment and the mainstreaming. I kept this as a still question. Can 1 kg can deliver the competitive biofortified crops into transitioning mainstreaming? And this is very much possible, and the work package is mapped under the genetic innovation initiative. Therefore, the dual investment in targeted breeding for a few years and mainstreaming approaches to be strengthened in next 5 to 6 years is very crucial. So the designing of the food basket based approach or food system based approach is very much important. And HarvestPlus just completed the feasibility study for calcium micronutrient, and this report will be out. So such feasibility study can be done in other crops when we are starting the 1 kg agenda. So the day one, HarvestPlus also insisting the strategy for mainstreaming, approach for mainstreaming. However, the days comes now and the proof is available, and strategy was here hypothetically explained that mainstreaming breeding has to be start gradually and take over from the targeted breeding by 2030, by now 10 years. Therefore, investment in targeted breeding has to continue next 4 or 5 years and slowly develop the mineral dense and vitamin dense pre-breeding material, and that has to be used in the mainstreaming, and slowly and phased out the targeted breeding, including capacity building by 2030. As evolving on CG, HarvestPlus also evolving its roles to support that 1 CG transformation. So mainstreaming indicators has been developed in some of the crops, as I indicated previously, and this slide critically for establishing publicly available standards, just like a BSI standard, which is useful beyond the seed release, which is consumer or it could be the industry retailer. For example, World Food Program would like to purchase some of the zinc-rich wheat or rice, and these standards will really help them to procure as per the standard. And for mainstreaming, yes, we are not done everything to ready for go mainstreaming. Certain aspect emerging area has to be investigated along with the global partnership. The effect of climate change and bioavailability, variation and possibility in breeding, especially the bioavailability in animal production, and also in the multi-nutrition through multi-crops food system approaches is very much important. So fellow colleagues and partners, and the key message is that targeted breeding is well demonstrated and set stage for the mainstreaming now. Therefore, mainstreaming breeding must improve the nutrition. The alignment of HarvestPlus program and its capacity is very much important in coordination and monitoring system for making impact in nutrition area. The policy advocacy and mandatory minimum level of stable food crops release, especially in India, and this is set for pearl millet. So other crops are being discussed. And this is very much essential to improve genetic gain in the national program as well as the CG program. Therefore, if CG distribute only those minimum standard micronutrient level beside the other productivity and trait required, and this can be achieved easily. Involvement and investment from the national government and private sectors is very much essential during the mainstreaming phase. Unless private sector, the mainstreaming is only off. The changing climate will further expected to disturb the stable nutrition. Therefore, HarvestPlus model is crucial for 1CG evolution. And I hope we can make a better mainstreaming strategy. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for the opportunity.